we're doing equations which were reducible to quadratics. And the key to that was if one of the variable has a power exactly half of the other, then we will always be able to reduce that equation into a quadratic one. And whatever the smaller power, the half power is, we replace that with a new variable. We take a square, it will always give us the other variable because it is already half. So when we square it, it will always give us the other squared variable. We replace the variables, we solve them, the new quadratic equation. At the end, we replace whatever the solutions we get. We put the original variables back into that. So in this case, it was x power minus 3 equals 1 over 8, and x power minus 3 was equals to 1 minus 1. Now, in order to make this power 1, we take a power of the reciprocal of -3, which was -1/3 on both sides of the equation. So it goes here. Upon solving this on calculator, you should be able to get 2 from here and -1 from here. Okay, this is what we did in our previous lesson. So we'll be doing one more question for this, for the sake of practice, and then we will proceed further. Okay? So I have an equation, find x raised to the power 1/3 minus 2 x raised to the power 2/3 plus 8 equals 0. Solve this. And before you solve, be careful about which power is half of the other one. Done?
For X 7.0, I think.
So you've got two answers. As are you giving me the final answer?
Yes.
Can you repeat them again?
47.0.
47.0.
No, wait, I think I did it. Okay, never mind. Yes, 47.0 and minus 1.36.
47.0 and minus 1.36. Maybe check it there. Assalamu alaikum, Ridha. How are you?
I'm fine.
Did you get a chance to go through the previous recording?
I have to do it today.
Okay, no worries. अफसा आप जितनी देर में आप लोग पुराना क्वेश्चन करते हैं, let me help Rida catch up. Okay, beta, we were doing equations which are basically reducible to quadratics. So basically the key to that is we can always reduce any equation to a quadratic if one power of x is exactly the half of the other one, the way it is originally in a normal quadratic equation in which the maximum power is 2. Like if you look carefully, this is 1 and this is 2. So this power of x is exactly half of the other. So if we have any other powers other than 2 and 1, and if you relate them and if you look carefully, the one power of x is exactly half of the other one, then we can always reduce that one to a quadratic one. Now here is we solved one question. This was the question examiner wanted to solve it. If you look carefully, this power of x is 2 and this is 4. So clearly this power of x is exactly half of the other one. So the way to go about it is the power which is half, the variable which is having the half power of the other one, you take that and you assign a new variable to that. Let's just say y in this case. So if you take square on both sides, it will always give you on the left hand side, it will always give you the other one because initially that's what we checked, that one power is half of the other one. So when you take square, the powers will multiply, the power will be multiplied with the 2, it will become 4. So this one is going to become y squared. Now we replace these variables, x squared with y and x power 4 with y squared. And this is our new equation, quadratic equation in y. Then we solve this quadratic equation. Normally, I solve this by using a completing square method. You can use any method you like. You can use quadratic formula, you can use middle term breaking method, or you can use completing square. I solved this question by using completing square method. After solving this, you get two values of y, normally exactly in the same way when you solve any quadratic equation. So we solved this quadratic equation in y. We got two values of y as 4 and 1. Now this is not our final solution. These are the values of y. Now we replace y with the original variables. Y was equals to x squared. So I put here x squared equals to 4, and then x squared equals to 1. Then we solve this by taking square root on both sides. I'm going to get plus minus 2, and here I'm going to get plus minus 1. So these are the four roots for this equation. Then we solved these two questions. This is power 1 by 2 and this is power 1. So clearly this is half of the other one. The one which is half, we replace it with y. We take square on both sides. It gives you another variable. We replace these variables with the new ones and then we solve them. I haven't shown the process of solving here, directly jumped to the roots of y. Once we have that, then we replace them back with the original variables. Y was equals to x power 1 by 2. Then we solved this equation, x power 1 by 2 equals to 1 by 3 for x. In order to do that, I took a square on both sides to get rid of this power 1 by 2. So whatever the power is, if you want to make it 1, you take a reciprocal power. So 1 by 2's reciprocal is 2. So we took power 2 on both sides to make this power 1. This gives us 1 by 9 here and 1 by 4 here. So this is the question I gave, so I'm going to solve this now. Okay, so in this question, first of all, you need to look carefully which power is half of the other one. If you look carefully, this power 1 by 3 is half of the power 2 by 3, because half of 2 by 3 is actually 1 by 3. So this is the one which is half of this one. So we start off with the power which is half of the other one. So we will let x power 1 by 3 is equals to y. Once you take square on both sides, this is going to give you x power 2 by 3 equals y squared. Now we put these new variables into our equation. This is going to leave us with 5y minus 2y squared plus 8 equals to 0. Now you rearrange this quadratic equation. Minus 2y squared plus 5y plus 8 equals to 0. We can use quadratic formula here. A is minus 2, so I'll directly plug these values in the quadratic formula. But we need to be sure that this equation which we are solving is not in x, it is in y. So we will solve this quadratic equation in y. So solution will be y equals, not x equals, okay? Y equals minus b plus minus b squared minus 4ac and then whole divided by 2a. If we solve this, you can do this on your calculator. The exact value would be, you can use quadratic mode even in order to get the solution of this. A is minus 2, B is 5, and C is 8. So the exact value, one solution is 5 minus root of 89 over 4, or y equals 5 plus root of 89 over 4. Now you replace these two variables y with the original ones, which were x power 1 by 3. So y was equals to x power 1 by 3. So x power 1 by 3 equals, so this implies x power 1 by 3 equals 5 minus root of 89 over 4, or x power 1 by 3 equals 5 plus root of 89 over 4. Now, in order to make this power 1, what will be the reciprocal of 1 by 3? 3. So we will be taking cube on both sides. Power 3 here, power 3 here, power 3 here, power 3 here. Again, you can simply use your calculator. So fraction button, okay, so bracket open, fraction button, 5 minus root of 89 over 4, bracket close, and the power of 3. This is giving me one solution is negative 1.36, correct to 3 significant figures. Or, now moving on towards the other solution, bracket open, 5, okay, sorry, fraction, and then in the numerator 5 plus root of 89 over 4, bracket close, and the power of 3. And this is giving me x equals 46.98. So correct to 3 significant figures, it is going to be 47.0. ठीक हो गया जी, very good. You got the same answer? ठीक हो गया, very good, Epsa. ठीक है, clear? Chalo. So this was a recap of what we did in our previous lesson. And one more question was there. This was an extra question for the sake of practice. I hope, Rida, it is clear after watching the recording of the previous lesson, it will be more clear. So let's start off a new thing, which is solving simultaneous questions. You've already done this in your IGCSE and O levels, and now there are basically two types of solvings. Like, so first of all, let's understand the term. What do we actually mean by solving any equations simultaneously? For example, if I have x plus 3 equals 5, what will be the solution to this equation? X equals 2. This was easy, but what if I give you x plus y equals 4? What will be the solution to this equation? Just x plus y equals to 4. If I ask you to give me the solution to this equation, what will be that?
X y equals 2.
Okay, that's one of the solutions, that x is 2 and y is 2. What about if x is 1 and y is 3? What about if x is 0 and y is 4? What about if x is 3 and y is 1? What about if x is 4 and y is 0? So these are all the possible solutions if I stick to just integers number. I haven't even started off with the decimal values. So there are infinite solutions to this equation. So we say that we cannot give any obvious solution for this one. So that is why this is the basic rule of mathematics. In any equation, there should be one unknown, only then you can solve it. If there are two unknowns, then you need two variables. If there are two variables, then you need two equations. If I give you the same equation as x plus y equals 4 and x minus y equals 0, then you can give me the solution. And what will be the solution of this one now? So this is a simple question of math. Two numbers added, 4, and the two numbers subtracted, 0. Very two same numbers. Whatever x is here, it should be the same x here. Whatever y is here, it should be the same y here. X equals to 2 and y equals to 2 as well. This is the only possible solution. Huh? You see, so there were two unknowns. With the help of two equations, you were able to give me the solution. So this is whatever your brain did, your brain solved the equation, the two equations simultaneously. Now, this was an easy question. You should have be able to do it, but mentally without going through any process. Now, there are two main processes in order to solve any two equations simultaneously. One is elimination, and the other one is substitution. Elimination is mainly and mostly used for when both the equations are linear. But if one is linear and the other is non-linear, one linear and one non-linear, then you use the substitution method. You won't be able to do that. If you have different powers, different degrees of the two equations, it will be very hard to solve it by using elimination method. So for that, substitution method is recommended. So I'm going to solve one question here just to give you an idea how to go about it. You have done this before, so just quick go through. So for example, you have one equation as y equals x power 6 minus 1 and another equation as y plus 1 equals x cubed. And the examiner wants you to solve the two equations simultaneously, means give the value of x and y. Okay, now before I jump towards the solving of the two equations simultaneously, if you recall from your coordinate geometry, whenever we solve the two, if I want to find out the intersection points of the two lines, what will I do? I will solve the two equations of the two lines simultaneously. So this is what we mean by solving simultaneous equation graphically. So graphical meaning of solving the simultaneous equations is, now whatever this equation is, it is going to have some kind of curve. It is also going to have some kind of curve. If I solve them simultaneously, let's suppose the curve for this one is, for example, and let's suppose the curve for this one is, so if I solve the two equations simultaneously, it will give me the intersection points where the two graphs are intersecting each other. So that is what we mean by solving the two equations simultaneously. So basically in the plane, when we solve the two equations together, we are planning or we are tending to find out the common x for both the curves and the common y for both the curves. Okay, so that is why it is the intersection. So in order to do that, let's use substitution. So in order to use the substitution, you should have one variable, a subject. If you look at this equation, this is y is already the subject of the equation. So we will call, let's call this equation as equation 1 and this one as equation 2. So I'm going to say substitute equation 1 in equation 2. Now, in equation 2, in place of y, I'm going to plug in. So y as it is plus 1 equals x cubed. Now, in place of y, I'm going to substitute the value of y from equation 1, which is x raised to the power of 6 minus 1. Now, if you look carefully, this new equation here is basically an equation in x. Now, if we rearrange this, x cubed minus 1 plus 1, sorry, x raised to the power 6 minus 1 plus 1 equals x raised to the power of 3, x raised to the power of 6 minus x raised to the power of 3. These two will cancel out, and this is equals to 0. Now, this is important. This is, let's call this as equation A. Let's call this as equation B. When I brought them together in order to find out the common point, upon merging A and B together, it resulted in a new equation, which is equation C. Now, basically, I'm going to solve equation C, which is in X. The solution of this will be the X coordinates of the intersection points of these two equations. Or in short, the solution of this will be the common solution of both of these. Got it? समझ आया? अब सर साइमल्टेनियस इक्वेशन को
Yes,
सॉल्व
sir.
करना तो सबको आता है, बट इसके मीनिंग और इसके जो प्रोसेस का ब्रेक डाउन है, ये बहुत कम लोगों को पता होता है. So this is the important point here. This is always going to happen like this. आपके पास एक इक्वेशन ए होगी, इक्वेशन बी होगी, आप उनको जैसे ही मर्ज करेंगे एक इक्वेशन सी आएगी. We will be actually solving equation C. तो जब equation C का solution होगा, that will be the x coordinates of A and B. Now, if you look carefully at equation C, we need to think what type of equation it is. This is a reducible quadratic, isn't it? 1 power of x is exactly half of this, but we don't need to substitute it because this is not a 3-term quadratic. So there is no need to go in that direction. What you can do is you can take x cubed as common, and you will be left with x cubed minus 1 equals to 0. Possible? Now we apply zero product property, apply zero product property. So I'm solving this by factorization. So either this factor, which is x cubed, will be equals to 0, or x cubed minus 1 will be equals to 0. Now let's solve that. X cubed equals to 0, or x cubed equals to 1. It was minus 1 there when I brought here, plus 1. Taking cube root on both sides. Or taking power 1 by 3 on both sides. This is going to give me the value of x. The other day I told you, whenever you take square root, you always put a plus minus 1. Whenever you take a square root on your own. Over here, we are not taking square, we're taking cube root, so we won't put plus minus sign. So these are the two common points of intersection for these two solutions. You see, we solved equation C in order to get the common point of A and B. In order to obtain equation C, we need to take them through the process, which is basically I'm using substitution method in order to bring them in one variable. So I've basically merged the two equations. So upon merging them and simplifying them, that results in an equation C. So these are the two solutions of x only. We need to give the solution of y as well. This is not the complete solution. For each x, there is going to be a corresponding value of y. Now that's a very important point. For each value of x, it has a corresponding value of y. So for 0, it has a unique value of y, both of them, unique common value of y. So abhi 0 ke liye nikalna hai. So you need to mention it very clearly. For x equals 0, so we'll be plugging in x equals to 0 in either of these two equations. So let's just go for this one. Over here, we are basically now we are intending to planning to find out the value of y. In this equation, y is already the subject. It doesn't matter, you can plug it into any equation, both of them, they are going to give you exactly same value of y, because this is what we are doing. We brought them to a common point, and x and y is going to be common for both of them. तो जिस मर्जी इक्वेशन में आप प्लग इन कर लें, हम इसमें पुट करते हैं. So y is equals to 0 minus 1 is going to be minus 1. So इसको अब क्योंकि मैंने आपको बताया था ग्राफ के ऊपर एक पॉइंट होता है. ग्राफ के ऊपर कोऑर्डिनेट ज्योमेट्री में, if you recall, पहले x and then y. फर्स्ट पहला कोऑर्डिनेट आपका x होता है और दूसरा y आता है. तो इसमें x क्या है आपके पास 0 और y क्या है -1. It is important that for the corresponding value of x, you need to put the corresponding value of, sorry, for each value of x, you need to put its own corresponding value of y. अब यहाँ पे हम सॉल्व करेंगे. For x equals to 1, 1 power 6 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. So y is equals to 0, 1, 0. अगर आपने 0x यहाँ से लिया और इसकी y की वैल्यू उठा के इसके साथ लिख दी, that will be wrong. And exactly in the same way, if you put this as x and value of y from here, that 1 comma minus 1, that will be wrong. So that is why I said it is important point. With each value of x, it has its own corresponding value of y. So I have solved the two equations simultaneously now. Clear? Hafsa, Rida, clear? So let's look for a question
Yes,
and try
sir.
solve it. जिसमें you have to solve the two equations simultaneously. If you can take a quick screenshot of this one, we have 6 minutes. You can start off working with it. So let me help you begin with the question. This is one equation, y equals to kx plus 6. Don't worry about the k. The value of k is given, which is 2. So you can rewrite this equation as y equals to 2x plus 6. This is one linear equation. Another equation is this one. Value of k again is given, so y equals x squared plus 3x plus 2 times 6 is 12. So these are the two equations. Examiner wants you to solve them. Basically, he didn't ask you to solve them simultaneously. He's just telling you that the line and the curve, they intersect at point A and B. Intersection points कैसे निकालते हैं? By solving them simultaneously. Common point है दोनों का. So you need to solve them simultaneously. आपके पास दो coordinates आ जाएंगे. Name them randomly. जो भी जिसको मर्जी ये नाम देते हैं, B दे दें. सिर्फ वो points नहीं निकालने हैं. फिर coordinate geometry का concept use करते हुए you need to find the distance of AB, like distance formula apply करते हुए A और B के दरमियान distance find out करना है. और फिर अगेन कोऑर्डिनेट ज्योमेट्री का फॉर्मूला यूज करते हुए ए और बी का मिड पॉइंट भी फाइंड आउट करना है. 5 मार्क्स क्वेश्चन. सो देयर आर मल्टीपल थिंग्स यू विल बी डूइंग हियर. चलिए
But
शाबाश.
sir, the value of
Yeah.
c for the quadratic equation is 4.
Sorry.
The
Oh,
value
sorry.
of c
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
quadratic is 4.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Sorry about that. This is going to be. This was 2. I thought it is 6. So 2 times 2 is going to be 4. So first step, intersection points. आप start करें solve करना. मैं list बना देता हूँ. आपने करना क्या क्या है. Intersection points. Second, when you have the 2 points A and B, distance, and when you have the 2 points A and B, the same 2 points, midpoint of A and B. You need to do 3 things here. अच्छा बेटा, tomorrow inshallah onwards we will be starting off our class at 5 o'clock. Okay, I told you that Monday से करेंगे, लेकिन आज आप भी लेट आए. 5 o'clock पे हम स्टार्ट कर देंगे क्लास इंशाल्लाह. ठीक है. निदा बेटी, इज इट क्लियर? मतलब क्वेश्चन आज वाला कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हुआ है? परेशानी तो नहीं हुई?
Yes, I get it.
ओके, गुड, शाबाश. ना तीनों तक काम कर लिए. डिस्टेंस भी निकाल लिए, मिड पॉइंट भी. वेरी गुड, शाबाश. इंटरसेक्शन पॉइंट्स आ रहे हैं -2, 2 and 1, 8. Is it right? ऐसे ही आ रहा है?
Yeah.
Good, शाबाश. Once you have the intersection points, अगर ये नहीं आ रहा तो इसको देखें कहाँ पे मिस्टेक हुआ है. Once you have this, डिस्टेंस निकालें, डिस्टेंस फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करके, तो फिर मिड पॉइंट निकालें, मिड पॉइंट फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करें. Can I have a look at your work? Calculator. शाबाश. -1/2, 5. ठीक है. डिस्टेंस आ रहा है correct to 3 significant figures 6.71. तो फिर मिड पॉइंट्स वहीं से ही अगर आप निकालें -0.5 and then 5. इसकी वर्कशीट में इंशाल्लाह आज सेंड कर दूंगा. जितने पॉसिबल क्वेश्चंस हैं जो आपको लगता है आपको आते हैं वो करें. ये वाला कॉन्सेप्ट जो है जिसमें ये भी हमने इंशाल्लाह करना है, ये कल करेंगे. ठीक है हफ्सा, रिदा.
Okay.
Yes.
कहाँ तक हुआ है रिदा? बच्चे आपसे तीनों हो गए या अभी इंटरसेक्शन पॉइंट्स निकले?
I'm done till the distance and I'm doing the midpoint.
ग्रेट,
I've
शाबाश.
done
तो
the distance as well.
शाबाश, चलें करें, शाबाश. आपने बच्चे ने जो भेजा था अपना नाम जा सकते. अल्लाह हाफिज.
Sure.
डन.
Yeah.
चल ओके जी, इंशाल्लाह सी यू टुमारो. टेक केयर. अल्लाह हाफिज.
That's